right, welcome back. This is going to be our closing roundtable session. Ask us anything, all your burning questions. This is going to be an extravaganza. We have René, Pekka, and Daniel joining us. So I highly recommend you get your questions in now. Ask us anything. And once I see them in, I'll pop them up and we'll get to it. All right, guys, we're about to go live. Let's do it. Hey, welcome, guys, to RoboCon.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey, Joe.
Hello.
Hey, Pekka, haven't seen you yet, so good to see you.
Yeah, great to see you here. Great to be back.
It looks
And
like the
thanks
best
for hosting.
Yeah, looks like the best camera you've had so far at these events. So that's awesome. Looks like you're tuned in now, dialed in. Awesome.
I even bought the ring light.
Yeah, you can tell. It looks so much better than.
Yeah.
Nice, very cool.
Maybe you invite
for
me
next
to
week. For next year, we buy him also a good microphone.
I think the mic should be fine. But maybe you can invite me to test your conference someday again now that I have
absolutely.
the equipment set up. So.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. I'd like to start off by, what was your big takeaway so far from this event? Mine was the certification. I wanted to get each of your opinion, what your big takeaway was, maybe from either the on-site or the online event that you think is a big takeaway that someone should go back to their company or organization and maybe evangelize or push as a time saver. I don't know if
anyone
of
you want to start.
Not really.
so okay. From the talks, maybe one thing, because we had now 2 days of online talks. So I would recommend maybe 2 talks from Helsinki. The one person that I kind of surprised me. I know he likes to talk, but still on stage he surprised me. And the other person I always like when he's on stage. And the one thing is Manika Siriha. He gave a talk about using AI for selector healing, and just like explain his journey, how he approached that, and what were the difficulties and so on. So that is a definitely recommendation talk, and it's already free available. And the other one, I really like the story that Gervin had to tell in the end. That are 2 talks that I really liked. I also really appreciated the talk from Kelby. I think that should be something that we should also release very soon, just out in the public, for people that have never heard about Robot Framework, people that are scared of Robot Framework, or so, that they just listen to that. It was a nice introduction to how this thing works.
Yeah, I think the Kelby tutorial and also the talk was really interesting, because if you are a tester, you want to prepare everything at first and then start to write tests, and that's the way the other round. So like a developer normally works, that's the point. So we should start to write down our ideas just directly in code, and then try to make a structure around this, improve it, and such things. And this is a thing I really like to see more often in these test projects with Robot Framework.
Nice.
Yeah, I think for me, the talks René mentioned by Gervin, and also the scale-based presentation that we just heard, I think they've been really good in non-technical presentations, really good ones. And but on technical side, I've been always, for me, it's personally fascinating to see a presentation where people are using some new features of Robot Framework, like Listener API, new enhancement that Manny was using in his presentation, and so on. That's always nice, kind of gives a feeling that, okay, what we've been building lately kind of has made sense when people are doing new things on top of those. As like bigger things for the community and for the foundation, I think the certification that you already mentioned, they are of course huge for both of them, for the foundation, for the community. And I think for the ecosystem, well, a lot of new things happening, but I think robot code reaching 1.0 and Python, they are really, really, that's a huge milestone. And it's been a great plugin for a long time, but now that it's getting, so it's not only VS Code plugin anymore, it works in PyCharm and hopefully with other editors soon, then that's great. I'm also super happy that the foundation is sponsoring that work, at least to some extent. So that's good.
Nice.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
sure if this has been kind of announced or so. So not normally as a association, we start with an action plan and a budget every year, and then we discuss this in the board and the work group. So what do we want to do next year? Like the last 5 years, we want to work on a certification, and finally we got it. But for example, this year it came up. Or maybe I started a little bit earlier. We sometimes have a little bit leftover money in the end of the year. So because, for example, we had some plans that couldn't be realized due to just like lack of people doing that. It's not that we don't know what to do with the money, but for example, if we say we would like to spend 10K for modernizing our webpage and the web designer is not available, then it doesn't help if you have 10K, but no one can does the work. So then you think, okay, what to do then with the 10K? And because we want to work a non-profit, we want to spend that money in the year. So in the last quarter, we typically then think, okay, how is the budget situation looking like? Did we maybe get some surprising new members or something like this? Or Pekka has parental leave or something, and we couldn't spend all our money. And then we think, okay, we make a call for ecosystems. And then some ecosystems propose and say, okay, I could use, I don't know, 3K for doing this and this feature of that library, or I want to kickstart a new development. And also Daniel said, okay, I could use a little bit of funding money for doing PyCharm because this is also pain in the butt to implement that because it's not as easy as in VS Code, but it's high demanded. But I would like to get some funding for that. And so we decided to do that. And we this time also said, okay, maybe we also want to call for ecosystem projects that can use constantly some flow of money. And Daniel's project with Robot Code is our first non-core project that we want to fund on a lower level, but constantly over the years, so that we say, okay, this is budgeted over the whole year, not the leftover money is spent there. So that also he can calculate, he can plan a roadmap, and we can say, okay, we are funding that because, and I think this is, I also have to say that this is a huge difference between Robot Framework and other automation tools. You either have the corporate tools, they typically have their built-in editor or something like this, but going for any open source framework and seeing such a heavy integration in VS Code, such a great IDE is super rare in the market. So there's no IDE for Cucumber, no IDE for any other of the open source framework that is as good as what we have now for Robot Framework. And
one thing I want to mention related to what René was just said, that when Foundation has been getting new members over the years, and we've been running this conference and hopefully make some profit from that as well. So this is exactly the stuff that we do with the money. So if we get more companies joining the foundation, then we'll have more membership fees, then we can then sponsor the core more. It would be awesome to get more people working with the core. That's me being the kind of the only really active person. There's kind of risky in many ways. Being able to sponsor IDE development, some of those more important libraries and so on. That's what the foundation is doing. We're trying to collect money so that we can actually pay people. And of course, that doesn't mean that we wouldn't appreciate people doing open source development on their own time or company time. That's of course really good. But then we have this like cornerstone project, of course the core, but also the IDE, especially when it has the reusable core, the LSP server itself. Those are things that we want to be available, and then there can be, of course, more coming in. So that's what we try to do.
And my vision is, and this improves year by year, and also you see that gets more, in my opinion, more attraction also on RoboCon. that we want to professionalize the whole open source thing. That open source does not mean it is not paid work. Open source just means like, okay, it's a shared invest by multiple companies. Yeah.
What do you choose how to
I
pay
would
them?
like to.
Like, how did Daniel get his project funded? Does that make sense?
And so initially, or what do you mean?
Like initially, like how, like say someone's has a great idea, but they're looking for funding. Do they go to the foundation, or do you choose at the beginning of the year which projects you're interested in?
So normally we call for proposal in the Q2, like after the summer, when we see, okay, it seems that we cannot or we will not spend all our money on the projects that we want to have. So we make a call for proposal, and then people can propose. For example, the last 2 years we said as a limit is 5K per project. So they can propose, okay, I want to do the following things. It's good because and so I would like to get some funding, and then we can do the funding. We of course at the moment concentrate on robot framework stuff, so we are not funding any open source stuff. We are not that rich right now, so still we have to look. But yeah, that was one thing. But Daniel started that whole thing, of course, in his private time. Then he was a little bit like paid, or our employer said, okay, Daniel, you can work like 2 days a month on that project. This is what Imbus spends on that project, but it's way more work. So he's still investing a lot of private time, and that shouldn't be the case, because you see that 100,000 people using it.
Yeah, when we are running these ecosystem funding rounds, it's possible to propose totally new project, something like, okay, this is something I want to try building, and then of course we may not be giving that much, or well, the foundation may not be giving that much money for that, but something like you can try. But also you probably have even better chances of getting this kind of grant if you have done something already and you want to say that, okay, this is what I have and now I want to make it better, and with these kind of things. And that was basically Daniel's case. But we do this typically in the autumn. Well, not in northern hemisphere autumn, like at the end of the year when we know, as René said, budget situation. So the RoboCon, for example, is a very big thing for us, that we don't know when we are running it, like venue cost and everything with the on-site one, and then here how many people we get and so on. So only after all the bills have been paid and we know what's the situation, then we can say, okay, what we can spend.
Are there any deliverable or milestones, Daniel, that you have to hit to get paid?
Let's say he has to deliver some milestones for us so that he get the funding. So this is one of our requirements. You just hit a pain point here with what Daniel's side. So he has to come up with a roadmap. I mean, same as Pekka. So we had a lot many years where we just said, okay, you just go, go whatever you think is good. We basically do that the same way till now. But on the other hand, we now have 80 companies who are investing. So we said, okay, we also have to professionalize a little bit. So we came up with a so-called roadmap work group. Pekka leads this roadmap work group. He basically comes up with the plans. But we have meetings in this roadmap work group where Pekka asks, like the participants, okay, what are your opinions? We discuss stuff. So the participants of this work group, people can volunteer to join that work group. If you're interested in robot core development, in contributing ideas or bringing in your opinions, you can contribute then. And then Pekka creates a roadmap out of that work group and finally just basically presents it to the association and asks for a veto. There has not been a veto yet, and I don't think there will be one in the next years, but that's how basically how it works. So also here we have transparency of what we will use the money for, what the roadmap will look like. People can see the milestones and the roadmaps on robotframework.org. And similar thing, of course, when we use other people's money, we also want to have with robot code.
Yes.
Yeah, and by the way, that's the point. We have a roadmap. We have actually roadmap discussion tomorrow at the open space, or community day. So we're going to have in the second session, we are going to continue with Robot Framework 7.3 planning. We started that at on-site RoboCon, and then we are going to continue there. And hopefully soon we then have the roadmap available for Robot Framework 7.3.
Yes,
And
and for
we're
my
coming here. I know
roadmap,
Let
I know
Daniel
Joe
say.
wants to jump in and ask something. I just wanted to say one thing. The community day tomorrow. So people who are now watching, and maybe not everyone has a ticket of your colleagues. The community day tomorrow and also Gather Town in this evening will be open. So once this Q&A stuff here is over, I will close the conference hall so that the people who are running around in Gather Town cannot just sneak in these in the live stream. But then I will also remove all the restrictions from Gather Town. So invite all your colleagues. And also tomorrow, the open space is really open space for everyone, not bound to any conference ticket.
okay.
Cool. Daniel, what were we going to say?
Yeah, I wanted to say some words about my roadmap, but René, we know René. He's talking the whole time. So yesterday in my talk, I showed a little bit of my roadmap. This is mainly the PyCharm support, the notebook support, fix some errors, and if I have time, that's the main problem next week. Also, I will put all these things and issues in the on the Robot Code GitHub repository to make a roadmap. But if you have things around your community that you want to see in Robot Code, create an issue about this.
Great. So let's get some questions from the audience here. Tattoo, great question. He wants to know, how do you see the future of robot framework in short and long term? Where are we heading? What is the long term vision? I'll start with you, Pekka. I'll pick on you first, I guess.
Well, in semi-short term, like looking about this year, the Robot Framework 7.3, it's not going to be too big release. I think the manual work that we are going to do, like the rebranding and restructuring of the user guide, is the key thing there. But if you look at the Robot Framework features that I think are important in the somewhat near future, we are now talking Robot Framework 8, is making library imports and resource imports work better, so that the namespaces that we have work better. Like it's quite naive how it works at the moment, and it's been worked fine this long, but now the usage is getting bigger. People are having bigger test sets and so on. So how, for example, when you are importing resource files, how the libraries that they import are exposed and so on. We need to think about those. Add some kind of private imports and so on. We have had several presentations here also in this conference where somehow being able to make it so that if you import a library in your resource file, those keywords wouldn't actually be available on a top level test cases directly, stuff like that. So that's, I guess, kind of a short term, like what Robot Framework features are coming in. But this, of course, what we are going to get, it depends highly on the community as well. So that both what kind of features people are proposing, and also even more that if people want to contribute, provide new enhancement and so on, then of course we are eager to get those in. In a longer term, I kind of want to get Robot Framework internally even into better shape. Of course, that import namespaces thing is very important, but getting somehow the execution logic work better so that there's better context handling, so that we could make it possible to run keywords in parallel and execute just like so that you could possibly execute just a keyword, not even a test case and things like this, and move it to some extent even more into a programming language than it is now. Of course, we already now have a lot of these control structures, but there are certain limitations that prohibit using it. But something like this is something that I hope we can do. Of course, we are not going to forget the roots and are not going to make it a programming language only. We want to keep it the automation framework, but there are certain things that I hope that we can do in the future. Overall, then, I mean, if you talk about robot framework ecosystem, then I think it's for the community to decide what's going to be there, and that's going to always. I'm super excited on that. What's going to happen in the future?
Daniel, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think we are on a good way. and I think also the import mechanism should be a little bit renewed somehow. But at the end, I think we should more focus about not only on the core, but also on the ecosystems, not only on robot code. But there are so many ideas. I think about these the reporting tools, reporting websites. This is, I think, another point we should work on. Maybe not on the core, maybe more under the umbrella of the foundation. That's the important thing. That is not someone is inventing something, and then another one is inventing the same thing,
Right.
a little bit different, so that we can manage these ecosystems project a little bit better, to not invent a wheel again every time. So that was my wishes for a long-term vision.
Nice. And René?
Yeah, I must say, so this long-term thing, I really think Robot Framework has the potential to become the automation framework, or the open source automation framework in the world. I think Robot Framework has so much potential, still has a big and still growing community. I just wanted to pull the current numbers, but we are way above 3 million downloads a month with Robot Framework. There are definitely some CI platforms in there, and we also will definitely not get on the numbers that the developer tools are using. So, for example, Robot Framework browser with the Playwright thing is a fraction, like it's 10% of Playwright Python users, which is just a fraction of the Playwright Node.js users. I think we will never get that numbers, but from this high-level testing frameworks, I think we can really succeed or outlive the others. I think the others partially die by maybe the maintenance deaths, maybe also the people run above over Robot Framework and see it. So we definitely see in Germany, Robot Framework is growing rapidly. The user base is growing, the community is growing. And I think short term, we have enough stuff to improve, even though we are great already. Long term, I would really like to get this as a contribution community, which also kind of leads to the next question, where companies realize that open source is not just free, but they can recontribute to Robot Framework and also build their own solutions on top of Robot Framework. And I think that would be a nice goal.
Yeah. So going to that question, how can we get more companies to participate in open source framework?
Yeah. So one thing is to also talk about it. Often I hear questions like, okay, what do I have to tell my manager to convince them to invest in open source? And a lot of managers are not dumb. So maybe sometimes it's just first talking to them and asking them for their opinions about, like, hey, we are using the following open source tool. It's free. It brings us a lot. What do you think about investing in it? Or I just today got a question from one community member. So, hey, you asked for maybe contribution to browser library. So yeah, super welcome. Yeah, maybe I find some time in my private time to contribute. We are using it heavily on work. And I think so. Why do you have to do this in private time? And why are you not doing this in your work time? Because you are using this heavily, so you could contribute back during your work time to that. So, for example, Tato Alto is allowed to do it, at least partially, in his work time while he's working for OP to contribute. And I think talking about open source and bringing the awareness is one important thing if you're a user of open source. So how can we contribute back? And the other thing, and that's the other side of the medal, are the service providers. So we have a lot of foundation members that are testing service providers, test automation services, and so on. And they build solutions for their customers. We have realized in the last years that it sometimes really is easily accepted by the customer to talk with the customer and say, okay, you want the following solution, we can build you that solution, we can develop it for you, but what about if we open source it? We, from the beginning on, from the get-go, design it so that there are no confidential information in it. We build something that you can use, and then we open sources. And the good thing is, when we open sources, maybe someone else jumps on it and pays us 1,000 euro to make a new feature. You get that feature for free. If you have it closed source in your cabinet, only you can pay, only you can invest in that, and no one else can share the effort. And I think this is maybe one thing for the consultant companies out there. Talk with your customers about open sourcing, also the solutions they pay you to do. Daniel, you want to say something? Or Pekka?
Yeah. That's one important thing, and that's what I've learned the last years also with the robot code. And if I said to my customer, okay, here's a bug in robot code, can I fix it in time? Yes. If it's not take too long, then it's okay. So this are the smallest part.
So fix it in paid hours from the customer.
Yeah,
so the customer pays.
Yeah. The customer pays it. And what I think it's, I don't know if the name Platin UI is found in the last days. That's an example of how it can work. So I started with a customer with an idea about a new UI automation tool. Talked with another customer. He has the same problems but different operating system. Just bringing some ideas, and then a third customer is coming, and we have the same thing. So we are working with 3 customers on the same open source project now, and I think it's a real good thing, because, and that's one point I want to extend your words a little bit. It's not only the customers of our companies get these improvements. We as a consulting company can start way faster with these tools that we get back from the other customers when we make it open source. So it's also a thing of when we always use the same tooling and can extend this tooling and make it better over the years, we build up our tooling, how we work in our region of technology and testing, and make standards with this. This is one important point. We build standards with this tooling.
Yeah, I
so
agree with everything.
Yeah.
Everything said so far. One thing I want to, I guess, mention still, it was partly at least mentioned already, but is basically showing example. So I think what we've been doing, we've been growing all the time, and when companies see that these others are doing this, and then they get an idea that maybe we should try as well. Of course, there can be some huge companies with huge bureaucracy, and it's totally impossible, but even they can change. This is good. I mean, it has happened with the foundation as well. When the Robot Framework Foundation was formed 2015, it was 7 Finnish consulting companies, and it was super hard to get first non-consulting company join in, because there were all the product companies were thinking, well, you are all consulting companies, why should we join? But then when we got the first one and the second one, then suddenly it wasn't any more problem. And then also getting outside of Finland was kind of hard, but then we started getting companies there, and we had, I think, Imbus the first from Germany, but it has been growing from there hugely. And now we have a first foundation member company in India, and I expect that next year we have more. So this I believe is the best way, that we show by example that this can be done, and this is the benefits, and people realize it. And they realize also that if they build something on top of robot framework and just have it for themselves, then it's not going to be developed further by others are not going to help, and it might be that also if there are changes to robot, for example, what they did is going to break when nobody knew about it, and so on. So many reasons.
Great. All right, this one's for Daniel. They want to know, how would you like
Yeah.
people to help out with projects you are leading? Like, is there one piece you're like, oh, if somebody can help me with this, I'd be golden.
Yeah. I think I said it already in my talk. Contribute. It's not only contribution about bugs and errors and something like this. It's also bring some new ideas. That's one thing. And I need maybe more developers. Maybe someone has can write some code, write some documentation, write some nice tutorials, tell everybody about robot code. Here, this tool is cool, or something like this. And also, I think spending some money, fund me, sponsor me. This makes me a little bit more. This is just an idea in my mind. It's
Right.
not. I'm not really sure if it can work as a full-time job. But if I have maybe not only one evening every 2 weeks to work on a problem, but maybe 2 days or 4 days in a row, then it's much more efficient to work on new features. So and that can be made possible with some fundings maybe. So try your best.
So that's a good point, though. It's not just coding. People can help you in other ways, like creating tutorials. I could do that. Like,
Yeah.
like anyone could do that and help you.
Yeah.
That's a great idea for sure.
I think one.
Yeah, go ahead.
One case where people could help Daniel with the robot code is that because robot code consists of the language server and then integration to different IDEs. If people are interested in, for example, Vim integration or Sublime integration or Emacs integration, is to create those and document, either like provide a separate plugin for them, those, make them available somehow, or just document how it's done, so that the great core that's there can be used even more widely than with PyCharm and VS Code. I'm sure Daniel doesn't know everything about all possible editors, and is probably not going to build all these different integrations. But the great thing with this LSP thing is that it should work with most of the editors available, and people can build those integrations or even plugins.
And send me a message, and there is the Robot Code Dev organization on GitHub where we can collect all these little tooling around robot code. So that is collected on one place. That's the main part, I think.
Awesome. All right, I'm gonna do a close up of René. He did something on his screen. Those are the downloads. What is this?
Yeah, these are the download numbers. So this is obviously a Christmas year. So the end of the year it's going down again, but we are here above 3.5 million downloads. So this is from the beginning, basically what we can get from pypy.org.
Nice.
So yeah,
is it my maybe it's I'm not seeing it correctly. I don't see it as big in the U.S. as in Europe. Is that true, or do you see it growing in U.S.? If people are in U.S., is there anything we could do to help grow it even more?
So from the proportion. US citizens versus usage of robot framework, no, it's not that big. There it's definitely bigger in Finland or Netherlands, but then also you have Germany and so on. From the amount of people in general, we definitely have India, US as big players there, because you're just way more people in the IT industry. So, but what I would really like to see is maybe some I don't know, US meetups or an event or so where we could also support. So that leads us back to the ambassador program.
Yes,
so people that are located in the US that could spread the word. I know that, for example, Cisco just at some point approach us and say, hey, we want to become a foundation member, and here's our 12,000K a year, have fun. Yeah, and okay, we appreciated that and accepted that, but we don't know what they are doing. We don't know how they are doing it. That's the kind of disadvantage of open source. You may not see your users at any point. So we just can guess from the download statistics from PyPy where these numbers are going, or from the page visits.
But that's, I think, a reason to talk about it.
Right.
Yeah.
You must talk about usage. You must talk about what you are doing in your projects, not the details, but what tools you use, where it would come from, and make some advertisement about these things and so on.
Tattoos busting your chops, Pekka. He says Mike is not fine.
I think the problem is more the room than the mic.
Probably.
So
Yeah, it might be.
Not treated.
maybe two hard walls. Yeah.
Clavis, I know you're an Automation Guild attendee. Thank you for that. Actually, Pekka was at the first ever Automation Guild in 2016 or 17. The problem with this is we usually get submissions for titles, and not many people do Robot Framework, but I can invite people. So maybe, Pekka, we can get you back for the 10th. Yeah, that'd be a good tie-in if you could do the 10th Automation Guild next year.
Yeah.
Bringing the band back together from the first one, maybe.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that, but then I haven't been sure that should I be proposing another like intro to robot framework, but because that's already done once. But then again, I'm not sure how many people are back from the first one.
Yeah,
would there be new people who are interested?
I can reach
but
out.
I mean, yeah. So we can. I'm definitely interested, and I think it might also be good to get somebody who is using it or someone like from the community, because then I at least. It's kind of easier to buy ideas when it's not the creator only boosting, hey, this is awesome thing, because that's kind of that person is kind of biased.
That's true. Yeah, we had a big session a few years ago from a real user that did something crazy with it, and it went really well. But yeah, Dave.
Joe, how is the concept at Automation Guild? How is the talk length and the talking afterwards?
So what I'd like to do, the guild likes lots of questions, so we should do 20-minute sessions followed by 20-minute live Q&A.
Okay.
And they usually like hands-on.
And also like 2-3 days. How long?
It's 5 days. 9 hours a day that I'm online.
Oh. Yeah, and afterwards, typically, then you have 1 or 2 weeks of rest, and then it's RoboCon, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I jump right on RoboCon, which is always fun.
Yeah. I would like to maybe propose next time something about Playwright versus Robot Framework / with Playwright.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I made on the Automation Star in Vienna. I made a talk about the comparison, and also like code comparison. How do they look beside each other? What is the advantage, disadvantage?
Awesome. Let's do it. Okay. Another question. What would be a good way to introduce colleagues who haven't done much automation in the past into the Robot Framework? Probably Kelby's session.
Watching the Kelby session.
Yeah, booking a training with one of our awesome training providers.
Oh, that's true. So is the certification, talking about training, I don't know why I'm thinking of certification. It seems like a big deal. Do you foresee that helping to grow this year in the future? To maybe increase awareness, so people like, I should probably learn this?
That's a good question. So the thing is, I don't know. That's the whole certification thing is regionally totally different, right? So, for example, in India, it seems that certificates are really important thing. In Germany, semi, but still people like to have their, I don't know, ISTQB foundation level or whatever, or test automation engineer. I think in the US, I'm not sure how big certification in general in the US
for
is.
some reason, unless it's a security cert.
And so we didn't want to come up with something where we said, okay, this is like a money-making machine for the training companies, where the training companies are also those who give out the certificates and so on. So we want to have something that is valuable and independent, so that we say we come up with a plan that you have to know, the syllabus. Then we can have training providers that offer very well training, because that was a big problem that we had. So, for example, we got an email to the Robot Framework Foundation. Hey, I need someone who gives us a robot framework training. So, okay, I'm the first one who reads this. And then I think, okay, I could take my Imbus hat and say, okay, go to Imbus and buy a training.
Right.
Or I put my Imbus hat beside and take my chairman hat and say, we are all great, but we are unfortunately not writing which of our 80 members are actually service providers and have training. So basically try out, but you could also go to Imbus. I don't know. Yeah. So there was no answer giving to the community who is actually giving you trainings. And then you can Google yourself and so on. And that was one big dimension of this certification program and training program, that we say we create a list of training providers where we know they cover the concept. They really put effort in creating their training materials. They put effort in creating examples. It's not just, I wing it and it will be fine. Yeah. And I think this is a real value that brings that thing. And then on the other hand, I think also if people are proud to be Robot Framework users and they are not just like Robot Framework in their CV, but they also have this certification stamp, maybe others will ask. And if the companies are aware, okay, there is a certificate, that certificate has a value, so it's not like gifted because it's just stupidly easy. Maybe they also jump on the train and say, okay, we would like to have an RFCP certified professional hiring. And that, I don't know. We have to see how it pays off. Until now, I got positive feedback from those few people who have taken them. So it would be, I think, for now it's roughly like 20 or so. But I also got the feedback, and that's something that I would spread. Someone approached me during RoboCon and said, "Okay, fuck, I just failed. This is not a joke." Yeah. So
yeah.
And there was a long year robot framework user. So please don't take it too easy. We try to have a professional level here. Maybe we make an intro level later. But yeah.
Awesome. So let's hype up tomorrow. Can you talk a little bit about tomorrow work groups? Is there a work group or something for people who want to improve their development skills while working on beginner issues, PRs, or RFs?
There isn't any work group. There isn't precisely work group for that, but I think, and of course, I mean, there could be something like that. Maybe we could, I don't know how would it work, because this shouldn't be only Robot Framework Core. It's typically easy actually to contribute to, for example, libraries, adding new keywords, existing. But one thing I think we should kind of have a note somewhere. What we should do is that we should have some kind of a common, not rules, but recommendation for our various projects, how to label issues that are like, GitHub has these conventions like labels like good first issue and help needed and so on. We should start using those more, and maybe have some kind of web page within somewhere that where you could see all of our projects, because now you can of course go to the core project and see what issues there with that label. But it would be very nice if there would be something, okay, when these have search from all Robot Framework projects, basically what are the issues that have this kind of label that are easy, good for as the first contributions and so on. But I think that's something we can do for that.
But what I really want to do is, so the one thing I already mentioned that I think maybe in the opening, I'm not sure. We did once during COVID this Worldwide Workshop Wednesday. It was a day of digital workshops where we basically started also during work time in India, or even more Eastern, and then went once around the globe, like with sessions all over the day, also sessions during the US work time. And these were workshops given by the community for other community members. And I'm at the moment, we will definitely have a Robot Framework Browser Advanced workshop, so contributing to browser library. But I really would also like to give a workshop like how to develop robot libraries, and including that also how to set up your project, how to set up a hatch for the project publishing. What is the best project structure? what kind of linters should you do, how to do pull requests, something like this. So that we do that probably in the fall. But you definitely can propose this talking point on the if you go on RoboCon.io, down the agenda, there is a community day. Just propose the topic, and then we see if you find a peer group tomorrow. Maybe it already happens tomorrow.
Let me show that really quick. 1 second. So we're talking about go to the main page here for the program. Scroll down. You'll see unconference. Join the discussion. There's a proposal form. Fill that out, and maybe it'll happen. All right, guys. Sorry.
And the community day will be tomorrow again here in Gathertown.
Perfect.
Yeah. But we also have our monthly Friday meeting where people can
open space. Yeah.
The open space. If you have a topic or something like this you want to talk about, write it in Slack, and we can. Yeah, there are always a handful of people talking about different things and showing something new and such things. Yeah.
And René, you said it's going to be
Can
open.
we get Ed?
Sorry, go ahead, Pekka.
Can we get Ed here to answer the first question?
Yeah, so the point is it's not only if you like to talk and if you like to explain stuff, you can come tomorrow, but also if you just want to listen to people discussing, or if you want to just have a chat with someone on. So this is everything can happen Friday. So just come here, learn other people, or just come shopping and take what you find interesting.
By the way, you can still propose. At least I believe you can propose topics to discuss also tomorrow, but it's good if you can do that already earlier. And actually note to Ed that maybe some of the current topics could already be mentioned today somewhere, so that people can see what's kind of what's there, what might be coming. So that might be.
I think we will publish the Miro board and also the entrance to Gathertown again on RoboCon.io, so that the people can have a look what is already there.
Yeah, but as I already discussed, one thing is that we're going to discuss about Robot Framework 7.3, and another thing that I think that would be great to discuss is the translations. Like Tatu had this discussion about how to do localization with this Python lib core, but we could add that to the Robot Framework core as well, and that's something that we can discuss as well. So like some ideas, but in the open space community day, there can be discussions about anything like non-coding discussions, but there also can be like pair programming or something. It's basically anything.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we have about 12 minutes left, and let's do like a lightning round, I guess. Is there anything you're looking forward to do next year or in the upcoming year?
We can also stay longer, Joe. So
that's true.
Depends on your time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we can stay not overly long, but I mean, if there are more questions coming, I don't have any hurry. I'm going to the place I'm going to go after this one is that I'm going to beer at Gathertown. So I'm not going to go.
At Gathertown, okay, good. At Gathertown, that's fine. That's good. Not to beer in Helsinki.
No. I could go there afterwards.
So interesting upcoming stuff in the year.
Hey.
Hello. So I think the AI stuff will still be interesting in the community. We also want to try to find some good use cases for it. I do not like this. Hey, let's use AI for everything.
Right.
Let's really see where AI is good for and where to use it for. I think there is something coming up. I would actually like to do a little bit open source coding again. For example, like the fix that I wrote these comments was Kevin regarding data driver. Said I will fix it. I'm working on that.
All right,
because I had it in the drawer, and I was thinking I just have to find time to work on it. So that is the goal of the coming year. having more time with the family, and then having more time and more interest and energy again to do actually some open source coding.
Yes.
Daniel?
Yeah, I have a lot of things on my list. Plotting UI, robot code, and this is, I think that, I will do this the most of the time. So, and sure, yes, family, and yeah, that's why this may be a thing. Sometimes there is no energy to work on this. So if I don't answer the question right now, ping me again.
Right, for sure.
Yeah. So
cool. Can you give me a few convincing arguments or name success stories for employers to really contribute resources to work on open source projects? I don't know if any of you have any insights for this one. Like, I don't know if you heard from anyone like, wow, I did this and all of a sudden my employer got, I don't know, new business or whatever.
I mean, maybe just briefly. So on the Helsinki talks, there is one talk from Lennart. He works at the moment. He works for Provincial, which is a big insurance company in Germany.
Okay.
The tool that he did was during his I think his master's thesis or so. But he still could work on that on paid hours. But they talked about the situation, and they have a quite good peer group where they work with Robot Framework, and they want to open source stuff. And of course now you have all these legal implications and so on. So they maybe do the shortcut and open source it under a private repository so that there is no link attached. Other projects, I mean, but we really had in our customer connections, like users who are actually using Robot Framework, multiple cases where people says, okay, yeah, I just asked my boss and said, hey, this thing is cool for the community and we're using stuff from the community, so maybe we contribute that back to the community. And also this Robo Sapiens that was last year, this SAP automation.
Yep.
That was actually the customer itself. So I nudged Maduk to say, hey, go to the customer and ask if we can open source it. And then he went to this meeting with the customer, and the customer said, okay, first thing, Maduk, I want to talk about it. I want to open source that. And he said, oh, okay.
Nice.
So the customer had the same idea. And I think there are good stories. Arguments, in my opinion, is really this kind of the back contribution possibility. So people try it out. You develop something for yourself, but people can bring in more value. People can bring in feedback, or people can bring in new ideas, or even tell you, hey, there is an alternative that is maybe even better. Yeah, I mean, it can happen that you develop something, you think, hey, you made the biggest thing ever, and someone else sees it and says, hey, have you seen that? That is similar and is also cool. And then you get new ideas. So interact, bring your thoughts out, bring your solutions out, and you will get some revenue.
I think one big thing here is also, if there is a company behind, this company have secrets. So you don't really know sometimes what is really happening in the software. And if you want to fix something, it's not that possible as in the open source world. And just to give some bigger names in success, it's not only the Robot Framework community. There are plenty lot of tools around there. Think of the smaller things like Webpack, like gzip and whatever. This are sometimes projects making open source from a company behind. Is smaller, but they are allowed to use to work on because the company is using this tool.
Perfect.
And maybe one comment. I do understand the situation, but on the other hand, I'm opposing the standing of that situation. So there was this: we can't open source it because we are a bank. I do understand it, but the situation, if you build something and that thing is so secret that you can't open source it, maybe that wasn't a good idea in the very first hand. So if you have there some stuff in your solution, in your automation framework, or in your, I don't know, that is so tied together and there is some secret fancy stuff, what are you doing if you need external help and so on? So maybe directly from the get-go, when you start with a project, when you start with a solution, think about how can I build it so that it's agnostic to me, that it's agnostic to my secret. Then I can maybe also publish a part of it, and the secret influence you can put in by external information or something like this. So I think it's if you don't want to open source your code, there is probably something bad with it. So I know a lot of companies that have closed source software, and you ask them, hey, why won't you open source it instead of killing your software? Because they stop producing the software, for example. You could, on the other hand, just instead of stop producing it, just publish the code.
Right.
But it's so horrible, so bad code, you will never publish that.
Right.
So,
that's true.
And that's
always,
I think.
Yeah.
Start any project with open source in mind, even if your company never open sourced it. So it gives you flexibility.
And if you don't feel ashamed for your code, then it's probably good enough.
All right.
And I think Pekka even happens that he feels ashamed when he went through old code and has to refactor. He said, "Oh boy, what did I do there?"
Yeah, I would assume that all the code in Robot Framework has been rewritten at least once, but even though still there's a lot of code that is quite bad, and in design and in implementation. But luckily, there's also some good stuff there. So nowadays, it's getting better.
Well, is it going to be 20 years for Robot Framework in 2026?
Yes.
No,
2025. It's now 20 years.
I thought it was 2026. It was official open source.
Well, the first
open
version...
source 28.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 2000, yeah. Cool. Version 1.0 was released, I think, in January 2025, but that was Nokia internal. Of course, then, I mean, if you look at this
2005.
project that have been 2005. So if you look at this project that have been open source, then of course Robot Framework also was developed within Nokia and then open source. But if it hadn't been open source, then I most likely would have re-implemented it in one way or the other. Separately anyway, because it was based on my thesis and ideas and so on. But yeah, like, it was better.
So 20 years of Robot Framework.
05, the first release. 08, the open sourcing, and Robot Framework Foundation was founded in 15. So we have 10 years of Foundation and 20 years of Robot Framework this year.
Right. Should have played that up.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any plans to expand to different parts of the world? We saw some awesome contributions from India and Middle East this year. What's next?
I would say that we are very happy to extend anywhere, but especially the further away we go from the place where we are most active, the more we need community involvement there. So that's the reason I'm so excited about new member company in India who is very eager to expand the community there, because then they live there, they know the culture, they are in the same time zone and so on. And for example, us to go there from Finland or from Germany and start to preach about Robot Framework, I think it wouldn't really help work very well. But of course, then again, if there's going to be bigger happenings, we are ready to get there and so on. But same with anything else, we basically need the local people who are helping. Kind of relate to that, what I think it would be cool, this might be a note for Mika to think about, is that we know that we have a sizable community, for example, in Brazil. And for obvious reasons, there aren't many people visiting Finland from Brazil. It's far away. But then again, in this conference, it would be it would be easy to get people from those places. And also, I think there to be a lot of people in Thailand as well using Robot Framework that we haven't really heard about. So maybe we should try kind of note maybe for next RoboCon organizers that with the online conference we should try to reach out those communities and try to give them even cheaper tickets or something like that, get people here,
right. That's
so that we could learn more about them. We can help
that
them.
is, by the way, always possible. We didn't announce that very publicly, but in general, maybe as a remark for next year, if you have the feeling that you want to come to RoboCon, but your employer does not pay, it's always a possibility to contact us to get cheaper or sponsored tickets or so. Just explain your situation very briefly and say, hey, you would like to participate or you cannot fund that. That's always possible. Regarding the expansion, as Pekka said, it's, of course, we are open. You can use it everywhere. Some communities are very, very enclosed. So, for example, the Brazilian community, they're speaking Brazilian Portuguese. And so also there's a language barrier often. But there seems to be an active community itself. I also know there's a Russian Robot Framework forum where I have no clue what they are talking about because I can't read it. But it seems to be there. A thing that we want to do more like German translated style, because stuff like web pages and so on, because the DACH region is also a high potential region in Europe. But we are always interested in
doing that. Probably outreach for sure. Even dubs of some of these voiceovers for this use AI. Anyway, is there one powerful thing of the framework you think people don't know about that you think would make it like, oh, okay, now I get it. Let's use it.
So I would definitely say the extensibility. So something that is not super obvious at the very beginning. I mean, that's easy, that it has a rich ecosystem, that it can do keyword-driven and behavior-driven stuff, yes. But Robot Framework is so open and has also become even more open over the last years. The APIs are so powerful, you can train it every damn trick. So what we have done with Robot Framework, with customizing adapters built around Robot Framework for our customers, people did not know that this is possible. And I think this is one of the secret or the hidden superpowers of Robot Framework.
Yeah, I think a few years ago I would have said listeners at this point, but there has been now so many talks. We did talk about listeners themselves a few years ago, but now there have been so many presentations where listeners are mentioned. People should most likely know about them. But if you don't know, what they are, that's an interface that gets notification during execution. And earlier it was just notifications. Your listener was called when a test started or keyword started and so on. But nowadays, you can also make a lot of modifications to everything, like to the data and to the results and so on the fly, which allows a lot of interesting possibilities. So we did a
1-hour talk about that.
Yeah, we did. So, but now there's also the money's self-healing locator thing was based on listeners, and listeners were mentioned here in the performance testing context and so on. So I would say that it's not anymore so hidden because it's mentioned so often. But I guess one thing that people may not know is the parser APIs, how you can get also the data in a programmable kind of a structure in a tree structure, and you can make modification to data using it's very simple, very little code. You can make an interesting JSON data and save it back to disk and so on. But these are the APIs Daniel's robot code is using on the LSP server, and also RoboCop, Robot ID, these linters and formatters and so on. But these may be something that people are using tools that are utilizing these interfaces, but they may not know about them that much. These APIs are also something that you can implement custom tooling on top of those.
Nice. Daniel, why do you love it?
It's easy. That's the thing. Yes, as a developer, from a developer perspective, I think Pekka has everything saying about it. But what I think is, if I come to a new customer and should train the people about robot framework, and it's really, you get the fastest feedback cycle and testing that I ever have in other projects with commercial tools and such things. Just install it, install the library, and go with your web testing, API testing, whatever.
Yep.
There is no
We
need to learn complex program languages, whatever. So just right start. If I don't know, Kelby said it in that way in the talk, but if you set up a simple web testing framework in Java or whatever, you need maybe 2 days or whatever to get all the things together, connected with all these things. You need a good reporting tool, a good package management tool, and whatever. With Robot Framework, maybe 15 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, we had a customer who did SAP automate, or who wanted to do SAP automation in one team, and they did UFT for half a year and couldn't have it really running and so on. I was still in the proof of concept, and there was this other team happy with Robot Framework. They didn't do SAP, but they said, hey, there's also this SAP thing, so maybe you could help us. And then we said, okay, yeah, do it. And we suffered very long because they didn't give us the access. But then on Friday, we got the access to the SAP UI, and on Monday, there was a presentation. And basically, I think that was done by purpose. Yeah. So they just was stalling us and ghosting us so that when we come up with the presentation, we would fail and had nothing to present.
Aha.
But in end effect, we in the morning of Friday, we get it running, we installed it, we made the first test case, we made the recordings, we had I think 3-4 test cases running Friday evening. The person from the customer, I wasn't there, but the person from the customer presented everything and said, okay, that's running. And the UFT people were just like standing there and watching. So what? That's how quick did you manage to get that working? So I think the speed is also really
Raymond,
really.
I think that answers Raymond's question as well. Do a proof of concept for this next question with the and show them how easy it is. I think that would probably get buy-in right away. It sounds like Eggplant, UFT, just whatever company, plop it in there and do a POC. I think you'd probably gain a lot of ground that way.
I mean, with Eggplant, you also that is not only cost a fortune, that's costing twice fortune also. So it's super expensive.
Well, it depends what you need it for. So I don't know how.
Yeah, it has its use cases.
Yes.
On the other hand, for example, with Deutsche Bahn, we are now kind of phasing out Eggplant and bringing in Robot Framework with
7 years
UI,
development. 7 years development of Eggplant. And
it's AI now. It's AI powered. So
yeah.
But
anyway, I love them. Anyway, okay. What Slack channel should I join and want to be in the loop discussions for our RFCP, ambassador, roadmap, etc.?
You name it.
So
there's a
I think RFCP has not yet a channel. I think there is an ambassador channel. I'm not sure if this is public. But
no,
the roadmap channel is...
Yeah, I asked Mika about the ambassador channel yesterday, and there's only for the work group that's private, but I would expect them to create a public channel as well. In general, I think contacting Mika about all these channels might be a good idea to bring him. But for roadmap has a channel that is roadmap, so that's easy.
Hashtag roadmap, and otherwise just contact Mika Solmela, IIK and then Solmela, and you will find him in Slack. You will find him also like executive.director@robotframework.org, and he can organize all that.
What's the URL for
the Robot Framework channel? Yeah.
Again?
So again,
what did you say?
The Robot Framework channel. Put everything what you know did not know how to put it from a topic. Put it in the Robot Framework channel.
What's the URL for GatherTown tomorrow? Someone wants to share with the team.
It's basically what you see in the top. You can just copy it. It's the same URL, but I will integrate it into the program on the open of the community day, and I will put the community at the day at the very top as well.
Awesome.
So, and there will be Gather Town.
Do you have any subjects you're going to talk about tomorrow?
I think I will propose something about typing and libraries. So how to use typing, custom type converters and libraries. If anyone is interested in that, I think this is also a unappreciated feature in Robot Framework. Or
Yeah, it's true.
underappreciated.
I mean,
Not unappreciated,
yeah.
but
The automatic type conversion is really useful feature, and can do kind of miracles, especially if you start to have custom convert, and so you can do very interesting things.
Yeah.
And somehow, well, not directly related to that, but there's a Python 3.14 which is going to be released next autumn. It's going to have a huge change to how annotations work under the hood, and I just actually yesterday tested Robot Framework with Python 3.14 Alpha 5, and to my surprise, all our test cases for type conversion and so on succeeded without any problems.
Awesome.
So it seems that it's good. I was kind of worried because they are making huge changes there, and I was worried that our runtime annotation inspection usage is not typical usage for annotation. So I was worried that there would be something, but seems to be working fine.
Awesome. Will GatherTown be open after RoboCon, or is there another place that we keep in contact with other Robot Framework users? I assume it's Slack year round, but I could be wrong.
yeah, RoboCon will stay open for longer. We still have like 200 people access until the end of the month, but we won't use it because I think that after Monday no one will be here anymore. Tomorrow, of course, there will be something like 50-60 people, I estimate, hopefully more. In this evening, we are now going down to beer and drinking some nice drinks, maybe. And I luckily got today my Lonkero, which is this Finnish grapefruit gin thing. So we can have a proper after party. What did I want to say? Yeah, Slack at slack.robotframework.org. There you can have the invite link to go to the Slack. If your company notebook does not allow Slack, I would just propose put it on your private phone. You don't have to spoil company stuff, but stay in touch with the community. Believe me, it's way more fun than searching the internet in Google and so on. Just asking a question there, getting some information. Strong recommendation here. Yeah.
Well, that wraps up day 2. Thank you, everyone, for contributing. Thank you, Pekka. Thank you, René. Thank you, Daniel. Awesome stuff, as always. And it continues. The awesomeness continues tomorrow. So keep your eyes out on the program for how to join GatherTown tomorrow as well. So thank you all. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Joe.
Bye.
It was again a pleasure to work with you, and thank you for this awesome 2 days.
Absolutely. Thank
you. See you next year.
I hope so.
We're counting on you.
Hope to see you at the after party.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to eat, and then I'll try. I have a call in another 40 minutes, but yeah, I'll try to join really quick for sure.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you guys.
See you, Joe.
Bye. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye. Ciao.
Awesome. And as well, like René said, this is all being recorded. It'll be available. Big thank you for all our sponsors one last time. Index 9. Thank you, Index 9. All our gold and all our silver, and also giving some love in GatherTown one more time. And we'll see you tomorrow. Keep the love going. And once again, thank you all for being awesome. A round of applause for all the attendees and all the speakers and all the contributors. It's been great. Thank you once again for having me host. I'm really honored. And hopefully we'll see you again next year. All right. So thank you. I think that's all the things I need. But once again, show some love to our sponsors because they really help make things happen. And thank you all. And we'll probably see you in GatherTown later on. And as always, test everything and keep it good. Cheers.